Welcome to our next number video on standard form. Right, remember standard form, or another way around the world people call it is scientific notation, is a compact way of writing numbers, and it's very useful for writing very large or very small numbers. Now in the last video we focused on how to write really large numbers. In this video we're going to turn our attention to how to write really small numbers. Right, here's an exceptionally small number. Example 0.0000452. Now this is going to be written in standard form as this: 4.52 times 10 to the power of -6. Right, now the key things you remember from the last video: we place the decimal point between the first two significant digits, first two non-zero digits, and the power is how many times. Now in the last video was how many times we multiplied it by 10 because we wanted to get bigger. In this example it's how many times we multiply it by 1/10 because we're getting smaller. Now notice the power is a negative. Right, let's look at this example. So the number 0.0000763 is written in standard form as 7.63 times 10 to the power of -5. Let's show you how we do this. We once again pretend that the decimal point is between the first two significant figures, between the 7 and the 6. So we write it as 7.63. Now, when we move it to the left this time, we multiply it by 1/10 because we're getting smaller. And we do it again, times a tenth, times a tenth, times a tenth, and times a tenth to get to the number we want. Now we've had to multiply it by 1/10 5 times. So that's why we write it as 10 to the power of -5. So just think small numbers will have a negative power. Right, well here's another way that most people prefer to learn this technique. Once again, they know that the decimal point has to be between the 7 and the 6, and they just count how many times we move the decimal place, but we're moving it to the left. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and because it's to the left, they write it as -5. Right, let's get into example 1. The estimated speed of how fast grass grows is 0.000000021 meters per second. We're going to change this into standard form. So we write down 0.000000021 and we put the decimal point between the 2 and the 1, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. We've moved the decimal point 8 times to the left. So we're going to write it as 2.1 times 10 to the power of -8. It's a negative because we've multiplied it by a tenth or moved the decimal point to the left. All right, example 2. The mass of a certain species of ant is 9.2 times 10 to the power of -6 kilograms. We're going to change this back into an ordinary number. So here's 9.2 times 10 to the power of -6. Now we're going to write down the 9.2, and because it's a negative power, we're multiplying by a tenth or moving it to the left. So here we go. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So this is where the decimal point will be, and we're going to fill up all these spaces with zeros. So the number is 0.000092 kilograms. We're just going to chuck a 0 out the front to represent no whole numbers, and that's our final answer. Great, thanks for watching.